First, we're going to be using a bowl, empty bowl. Add warm water to the bowl. About, I would say, a cup of water. This pack of yeast is approximately 2 teaspoons. I know some people add the yeast into the flour and just start mixing, but it's wise that you dissolve your yeast first to ensure that the yeast is good, because there's nothing worse than mixing your bread and then realizing not rising because the yeast isn't any good. So always dissolve your yeast into warm water. So as I said, for this recipe we'll be doing at least 4 to 6 bread. I might get 8, depends on how I cut my dough. So I'll be using 2 packages of yeast, and then we'll be adding brown sugar. I have a whisk. You can use a fork if you don't have one of these, but you're going to mix that in. Ensure the sugar dissolves in there. So this is our mixed yeast and warm water and sugar. See, it already started to create some little foam on top. That tells me that my yeast is good and it's working. Now I'm gonna mix my dry ingredients. So if you have a strainer at this home, you simply sift your flour. And sifting flour is not just for sifting's sake. Sometimes sifting reveals other particles that would be in a product that shouldn't be in a product. Give the bread a nice texture. See, like this, let's show you something. You see that? That came in that flour. You see that? Can you see that? That was in the flour. So that's another reason why we should sift our flour to remove. See? Get rid of that in the garbage. So this is 2 cups of flour. Then we'll be adding a little bit of that flour, 1/2 cup of flaxseed. Oh, look at that. Very good yeast, see? She's coming along nicely. Gonna stir them together, and we'll also add 2 teaspoons of salt. We're gonna add all of the dry ingredients together. Whoops! Make sure it's well incorporated in there. I'll add the dry coconut milk in with the dry ingredients. Add our sago. So you add 2 of that in with the dry ingredients. And we're gonna mix that in. We're also gonna melt 2 tablespoons of butter. Remember our mellow cream? I'm gonna melt this and we're gonna add this to the dry ingredients. Okay, so we're going to, we already added our water and our milk, coconut milk. We added the 2 tablespoons of mellow cream butter, and I'm now mixing in the wet and the dry ingredients. Make sure your hands are clean. So wash your hands before you put it in the flour or you touch anything else. This might look like a little bit, but we are going to get at least probably 4 to 6 bread from it. Probably more, we will see. Flour is very unpredictable. I like my dough to be a bit sticky like this because I get a much lighter bread. You don't have to touch it up too much, you just have to gently move it around, get it mixed in there. Oh my god, you guys should smell it. It smells so good. This might look a bit rustic now, but in the next 15 to 20 minutes you'll see. And this is a nice vegan bread, no animal products in it. So anybody who said that you need lard and egg, and you don't need all that stuff in your bread. Linseed is going to give you a nice smooth consistency to the bread, and it's going to add fiber to the bread, which is good. So you're not just a plain bread. Sometimes you just bake a plain bread and you eat and it hits your system and it quickly becomes sugar. And if you're diabetic, bread is not one of those things that you should be eating often. But if you're baking your own bread, you're going to add linseed to it and other things like that that will make it much healthier. So this is already coming together nicely. So we're going to leave this for a few minutes. I want to just get all the flour that's at the bottom and at the side in there. Waste not, want not. I'm going to get all my money's worth out of this flour. We are going through a pandemic all over the world, and it's a lot cheaper to bake your bread, as a lot of people are going to learn. It's a lot cheaper to cook your own food, bake your own bread, and all those things that we depend on other people to do. Granted, a lot of people are going to be losing a livelihood, but on the upside, a lot of people are going to be eating healthier because you'll be cooking your own food and you'll be adding more and more healthy things into your food that you will not get otherwise. So I like it smooth, so let's make sure that it's I don't want to knead it too much because I want it to be a light bread, but I do not want to waste any flour. So anything that's at the bottom, I want it to be incorporated into the bread. This is going to be fantastic. Oh my god, this smells so good. Amazing. Okay, and then we're gonna put, I have some baking paper, non-stick paper. I'm gonna just cover it over. And just let that sit. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna clean up and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, look what we have here. The pot is now full and the smell. So let's add a little flour to that and we're gonna push her down. We should give her a name. Samantha the bread. Let's call her Sammy. She's like a lady. You have to knead her well, touch her well perfectly. Don't overdo it. Don't squeeze her up, thump her up. See, gently touch, gently fold, gently touch, gently fold. Come on, Sammy. We're gonna give Sammy another 10 minutes and then we'll divide her up so that her rise again and then put her in the pan. Okay, so I just thought I'll just show you guys how to line these pans. Hold it like that. Hold it like that. And then we're gonna cut it like right there. Not too much. Like probably quarter way in. You can go in and line it up where the edges are. See where the edges are? And we're gonna push that down. Actually, you're gonna fold it in like that. You see that? Fold it in like that on all 4 sides. I'm gonna push it into the container. This is one pan. I'm gonna put small ones. Right. Good. Cut that into like a sandwich, like that, and you stuff your lettuce, tomatoes, shredded cabbage, dressing, a little red onion slice, and you have like a nice sandwich. This would make a lovely sub sandwich.